It's PLB with MLB News, back with another video. And in today's video, we're going to react to the most important question every MLB team must answer in the 2020 MLB offseason. So if you like this kind of content, make sure to drop a like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you get notified whenever I upload a video. Link to other channels in the description below. And let's go ahead and get into this video. Starting off with Arizona Diamondbacks. Cut fat or spend it again. Okay. I'd say you probably cut some money this offseason. I think that's the smartest thing to do, and the reason I say that is because you took a lot of L's last offseason trying to spend money, and in this offseason is obviously a really good offseason, but I mean, I think they're a good team. I think if you're going to spend again, you want to do it on a reliever. That's my thinking that you should probably a reliever would be your main target. I think their starting pitching is pretty good and their hitting is pretty decent as well. But I would say probably cut some money this offseason. And I mean, yeah. Atlanta Braves. Can they add an impact starting pitcher? An ideal offseason for the Braves, I think, does not include getting a top relief pitcher. And the reason I say that is for the simple reason that they're going to have Soroka, Anderson, and Fried next year. I think if you get two back into the rotation starters, then you would be pretty good for next season. I'm not exactly sure who those two starters would be. But I think if you can get some back-end starting pitchers, then you would be having a pretty good rotation for next year. You're going to have to re-sign Ozuna and Melanson, and I think those should be their top two targets this offseason. But yeah. Number 3, Baltimore Orioles. Just how good is Ryan Mountcastle? .333 average with 5 home runs and 23 RBIs in at 35 games this year. Well, I wouldn't really Ryan Mountcastle, I mean, I know he was good, but he only played 35 games. He played just a little more than half of the season. I mean, I wouldn't. The Orioles are in a rebuilding phase. I mean, I don't know what they. I mean, you could still develop Ryan Mountcastle, but is he really going to be that great of a hitter that's going to lead you to the playoffs once they do get to the playoffs in like 2030? Boston Red Sox. Is Chaim Bloom willing to spend money? I would assume that's the GM of the Red Sox. I think you could spend money. It's just the fact that, I mean, you got rid of Betts and Price, both big money players, but you still have quite a bit of money there. You got rid of Moreland too, which was getting paid quite a bit, but you're paying Pedroia like $13 million just to not play. So, should they spend money this offseason? The answer is yes. I think next season could definitely be their make or break season. Yeah. Benintendi, his talents were just totally wasted this year with a bad manager. What their offseason needs to look like is they need to get a better manager because Ron Renicky was terrible. Do they bring back Jackie Bradley? Is another question. I would say no, just because you could spend that money on a better reliever. So that's the ideal offseason. Cubs. Will Theo Epstein blow it up? Theo Epstein's pretty bad, so, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. But, I mean, I just don't think with the roster that they have built is going to make it too far in the playoffs. They got bounced out by the Marlins this year, a fifth-place team, in most people's predictions. But I would say maybe not time to blow it up, but it's time to think about blowing it up. Chicago White Sox, will they add more pitching? They should. I know they have a lot of pitching in their farm system, but I mean, I think they need to get probably a good number three. Who that number three is a question. Okay, so here's the starters. You've got Brett Anderson, not a number three. Chase Anderson, once again, not a number three. Do you target like a Jake Arrieta? I think a Jake Arrieta could be pretty good there. Do you target a Kevin Gausman? A J.A. Happ? A Morel Kelly? Mike Minor maybe? Robbie Ray? Marcus Stroman? Those are about the only number three pitchers that I see here. For the Reds, can they re-sign Bauer? The simple answer is probably yes. I don't think that's going to be much of a problem. I think they should re-sign him. Yeah. He's the NL Cy Young. Can't let him go for nothing. Cleveland, will they trade Francisco Lindor? They absolutely should. You look at the haul that the Red Sox got back for Mookie Betts. They got a lot back for Mookie Betts for only 1 year of control. So I think they definitely should. And if 2021 should be a rebuilding season, then it will be. I mean, trade him. Get what you can back. You don't want to let him walk for nothing. Colorado Rockies, will they trade Nolan Arenado? They absolutely should. If I was Nolan Arenado, I would want to get out of there as soon as I possibly could. And here's my reasoning for that. Is for the simple reason that they just don't put the supporting cast around him. And if they're not going to do that, well, then get out and request a trade. That's what I think he should do. But it's obviously the Rockies' decision to trade him. Detroit Tigers, how will the young pitchers progress? That's not really an off-season question. That's more of an in-season prediction. So, no, what? That just doesn't make sense. Houston, which outfielders will they re-sign? It's a good question. Brantley, Springer, and Reddick, I'm pretty sure are all free agents. I would prioritize Springer out of the three. I would try to bring back all, but if you can't, I'd prioritize Springer, then Brantley, then Reddick. Kansas City Royals, is Whit Merrifield available? Yes, he definitely should be. They're not a winning team. Angels, how many starting pitchers will they sign? Well, they need a whole change in the starting pitching. If you're going to keep anybody, you're keeping Bundy, which I think they should have traded at the deadline. But that's just my opinion. They should have traded Bundy, but you're keeping Bundy, Heaney, and that's it. You need to sign 3 starting pitchers, and you need to sign a bunch of relievers because, yeah, I mean, it's Dodgers. Will they trade for Francisco Lindor? Simple answer is it's possible. But if you look at it, I don't think it's. It depends what they do in the World Series, honestly. It depends. So if they can win the World Series without him, I don't think they trade for him. But if they can't, then I think it's a lot more possible that they give up Lux, Urias, or Josiah Gray to get him. Miami Marlins, will they employ the same strategy? Well, seemed to be a working strategy. So, I mean, I guess you could try it again. I would try it again. What is Josh Hader's future with the club? This one's pretty obvious, in my opinion. I think that he's probably going to stay because they're asking for a ridiculous price for him, so he'll probably stay. Twins, are they going big again? Here's the thing, you don't pay Cruz that much because he's 40 years old. Like, he's at the end of his career, and he could be exactly like Edwin Encarnacion. New York Yankees, will they spend to keep DJ LeMahieu? Well, they absolutely should. Will they is the question. They don't need hitting. That's the thing. And I would not prioritize DJ LeMahieu, even though he is a great hitter. I wouldn't prioritize DJ LeMahieu just because you obviously need starting pitching. That's your problem. New York Mets, how much money does Steve Cohen have? What? They answered their own question right here. He has a lot of money, or he wouldn't be buying the Mets. What? What kind of question is that? What? Whatever. Oakland Athletics. What do they make of their own free agents? Well, the Oakland Athletics are going to be a lot worse of a team next year. The reason for that is Liam Hendricks right here. Probably can't pay Hendricks, Simeon, and La Stella all. So if I was ranking those three, I would probably try to Hendricks 1, Simeon 2, and La Stella 3. Phillies, can they re-sign JT Realmuto? They probably will. It seems realistic that they will, but if I was Realmuto, I'd try to get out. Pirates, how good can Ke'Bryan Hayes be? Well, Ke'Bryan Hayes is really good. It's going to take him a year or two to develop to a better major league player, but he's going to be good. San Diego Padres, will they extend Fernando Tatis? Well, you got to pay Tatis sometime. Obviously, they're paying Hosmer a bunch, Machado a bunch. They're paying a lot of different players a bunch of money. But Tatis is going to have to get paid. And what's a realistic contract? I think it's probably in that Betts to Trout range. That's my bet. San Francisco Giants, one more playoff run. I didn't necessarily think they were built for the playoffs this year, but they were close. I guess Gabe Kapler isn't that bad of a manager. Seattle Mariners is another Jerry DePoito sell-off in the cards. What? That doesn't make any sense. I don't know. Cardinals, how will they improve the lineup? Well, they're obviously missing Ozuna quite a bit, considering he led the NL on home runs this year. Something you hate to see. Molina, do they re-sign? I'd prioritize Wainwright over Molina. Molina's washed. Rays, what happens with Charlie Morton? Well, this is more of Charlie Morton's decision, in my opinion, because he could retire. And, yeah. Texas Rangers, will they avoid the mistakes of last offseason? Well, they made a lot of mistakes last offseason. Corey Kluber trade looked like a good trade on paper, but then he was injured the whole season. So, hopefully they make better moves this offseason. Blue Jays, is it time to spend big? Yes, it is time to spend big. Go get some free agents. You've got your first base, second base, shortstop set. You need more starting pitching, and you need more relief pitching. Let's go and look at some realistic targets in free agency. There's a lot of good relief pitchers on the market. So, I mean, realistically, you could go with Alex Comey, Shane Green, Liam Hendricks, Ian Kennedy. I would target here. I would try to get a mixture of Ian Kennedy right here, Ian Kennedy, and I would try to get Greg Holland and Shane Green, if possible, and try to bring back Ken Giles. If not, then you can't. All right, let's go ahead and look at the final team, the Washington Nationals. Our final team is the Washington Nationals. How do they bounce back? Interesting question. Well, how did they bounce back? It necessarily wasn't them this year, them just not having good players. It's more of injuries. The injury bug was a big problem for them. So, yeah, just hope players don't get injured. That's about all it Kind of is. All right, link to the article in the description below.